Hi, welcome to today's session about automate backup of running configuration for network devices. And this is Python for network admins. So today we're going to see how we can automate the running configuration of network devices backup using Python. So for that I have created a test lab with 4 routers, and these 4 routers are connected to my virtual NIC back to my loopback adapter. So just let's verify if we have the connectivity back and forth. So what is my IP address? I have 192.168.0.100 as my machine IP address. And what is router 2 IP address? It's 192.168.0.210. Let's see if we can ping back and forth. Is I'm able to reach it? Let's from the router let's try to ping my physical host. I'm able to do it. Let me try to ping the gateway as well. Yes, I'm able to do it. Awesome. So let's start building the Python script for that. So for that we need an important library. It's called pexpect. Yes, so pexpect is basically used to run telnet or SSH to network devices or Linux servers, and interact with the network devices, execute some commands on it. So pexpect is actually a Python version of original module called expect. It's a separate module for TCL library. Cool. So let's get started. For that, we need to know the IP addresses of these hosts. So I actually put them in a file, devices.txt, where I have the machine IP addresses, the router IP addresses. We can either actually create a list with all these IP addresses or read a file. Let's do both of them. First, let's create a router list. A router list consists of 4 IP addresses. Yes, this is 3, 2, 1. So this is the router list. Let's create some variables for username and password. My username is Cisco. Password is okay. Okay. Double colons. And my enable password is again Cisco. Pretty simple, huh? What next? Then let's create a for loop for all the items in the list. So for router in router list, okay. pexpect has a subclass called spawn, yeah, which actually takes 2 arguments. One is what protocol are we using? It's telnet, and the other one is the elements of um, elements of the list. So I'm going to use script function to take out any white spaces, and I'm going to call this as a child process, right? So what we basically did is we used pexpect spawn module to telnet to one of the router. So what actually happens when you telnet to router here? Let's try to do that. Yeah. So whenever we telnet to the router, we get username prompt. we give username, password prompt we give password, then we get greater than symbol, then we enable, enter the command enable, then it asks for a password, and then we give the password, we have a hash symbol. So this is a sequence of s- command line interactions. So pexpect basically runs one command at a time and then wait for the response. So when we entered telnet, the router actually waited at username prompt. So we'll tell to the pexpect module that we're expecting a username. Okay, I could actually give like this because sometimes username starts with lowercase u and sometimes it starts with uppercase u. So just to avoid the ambiguity, I have gave as surname. So what it actually does, it actually captures this. Let's also include. Okay, then what? Then we enter the username. So let's send the username. Send line. Send line basically sends the string with a new line character. So I'm going to send username. Then I'm going to expect password prompt. So which actually looks like this. I'll do the same thing. I, I copied there and pasted here. Then I'm going to send password, which is my pswd. Then pexpect module will search for the line dollar, sorry, the greater than symbol. Then I will send enable. Then it asks for the password again. Then I will send enable password. Then it expects for a dollars for the hash symbol. There I am. Now what? Now I will run terminal length 0 command so that I don't have to enter multiple times to get the end of the running output. So this would be terminal length 0. Then again I would expect a hash sign. Then I will send what I will do. Now I'll do a show run. Then I get the running configuration output. So let's do that. Show run and expect a symbol at the end of it. Okay, so now I have show run configuration. So how do we now all these configurations happening in the child process? How do we read the configuration? So for that, let's use a class called before. No, it doesn't have any classes argument. So this is, I'll call this as show run for simplicity, and let's try to print show run for each router, and at the end of it let's kill Let's kill the child. So what we have done here is just we created a telnet session to each router. We waited for some prompts and we gave the arguments. At the end, we got some print result, and then we're killing the session so that it can start a new session for the new device again. So let's try to execute this. Still waiting for the response. Should not take that while. Okay, we got some error. Where is that we getting error? Okay, let's decode it. Okay, nothing much out of it. Let's see here. We're waiting for username. We gave the username. We waited for the password. We got the password. Then, oh, okay, this is a string. This is not the password. Okay, that's the problem with this. This is enable pwd. Okay, just to avoid the ambiguity, this is enable pwd. Okay, cool. Now let's try to run it. Uh, Another error happened. Okay, yes, it's about child dot close. Okay, cool. So let's rerun again. Yes, now we're getting the output in the raw data. Awesome. So now we have successfully executed show run command. We got the output from each and every router. Now we would like to save this into a file. So how do we do that? Let's see. Okay, so to save this into a file, we need to create a file name. I'll call that as a file. My file name would be my file name would should something actually resembling with the router IP address like 2.10 underscore show hyphen run.txt. This would be the proper host name. So how do we get it? So for that actually let's add concatenate some strings. So router is my IP address, and then I'm going to get show run.txt. So which actually would do the same thing as this, which is equivalent to this. So this is my file name. Now I'll open this is not my file, this is my file name. Let me open a file. The file is called with the file name, and I want to open that in write mode, and I want to append or write the output from showrun and close that file. That's it. So let's see if we get files created. I'm executing the script. Cool. We got the output. Let's see what are they. Awesome. I have the running configuration created for router 2, router 3, 3 and 4, 5. Awesome. So now I have files got created. Where do I have them? I have them here in here. This is where I got all my show running configuration files. Cool. So now I would like to, what if I would like to capture show version? Same way, we'll run the same show version command and capture the output. So let's reuse this. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. Okay, this is not show run, this is show version. This would be my show version output. This is my show version, and this should have my show version. Cool. That's all we got, probably. Yes. So let's remove these because they will be created again. I'm running the script. Yes, we have show run and show version. Let's see if they have the valid output. Show run till end for router 2. Awesome. Show version. Yes, it's show version definitely for router 2. Yes. Let's randomly check it. Yeah, show run for router 5. Yes. Show version for router 5. Cool. So we have show run, we have show version. Awesome. So this is going pretty good. Now, what if you want to execute some commands and if they're not um, valid? For example, show switch is a command in catalyst switches. It may not run on the routers. Um, what happens if I run such commands? How pexpect deals with them? Let's just verify that. Okay, for now I'll just comment these so that this block of code is not executed, but I will reuse this code. Okay, let's run some command show switch. So show switch is a catalyst command which actually tells us what are the members of the stack. Let's see how router deals with them, or how pexpect deals with them. Okay, show switch. The output should have show switch, and this is show switch, and close the file. Awesome. So let's remove these files and run it. Yes, I have the result. Show run is good. What I have in show switch? Ah, I have invalid input detected, which means this is not the output I would like to catch, but this is a CLI error. I don't want to capture this in a file, but I want this to be seen on the CLI so that I can take some action. So how do I do it? Okay, so for that we need to use pexpect options here. Now I'm sending a show switch command. Pexpect is reading the output and finding for the end of the line command, end of the line, so which is hash. But sometimes this can be something else. It doesn't have to be a single end of line character. It can be, what happens if I show switch? So it has invalid input detected. So let me catch that. Okay, so I'm entering a command and I'm trying to see if I can. Okay, mistake here. Syntax error. Okay, so pexpect can enumerate between these two strings and then see which one of them is a match. The output from this is the position of the item in the list. Whether if the command executes successfully, then I get this. If the command is not executed successfully, if there's an error, then I get this. So let's capture this result to a variable called CLI, and for now let's not create a file. So let me comment all these. I don't need all these at the moment. Let's try to see what is in CLI. And I also don't want to run show run at the moment. Yes. So all the block included in triple quotes is excluded. So I'm running a command show switch and I'm enumerating between these two strings, the end of line strings, and I'm going to see which one of them is a match. At the end, I'm going to get the position of the match. Either if I get this one as a match, then I get 0. If I get this error match, then I get 1. Let's see how it looks like. I got 1 because show switch command did not run successfully and there was an error and I got the position of 1. This is 0, this is 1. So I got this. What if I run show run? Yes, show run is running successfully, so I have the position of this. So now what I can do from here? Now I can actually use if else conditions and I say if CLI is not equal to 0, which means there is a problem and I want to print some line on the CLI saying, hey, this particular command, show switch command, um, did not run on. It would be nice if I could include the IP address. So this is how it's gonna print. And if this not the if the match is 0, then yes, then I want to do a lot more things. Then I want to take the show switch. This is not needed at the moment. Okay, then I want this to be in the file name. And I want to close this one. Till there. Awesome. So let's see how it looks like. Show switch. Now I want to see a meaningful message. So let's run it. Yes, show switch did not run on so and so so and so IP address. It's quite meaningful. Perfect. What if I'm running show run? Now I should have. Okay, let's not change all these, but let's change this as show run and delete all these files for simplicity. So let's try to run and see. I could also actually make this more meaningful by saying this is not show switch anymore, but this is show run, and I want to include show run here. Let's run it. Yeah. So now I got the output. Show run configuration is here. Awesome. Script is going good. So now so far we have seen how to export the command outputs to the files using Python and how to use pexpect to read the invalid commands and return some meaningful messages. Awesome, cool. What if you would like to continue writing the outputs to do, I mean, continue exporting the outputs to different file names? For example, if you may want to capture show CDP neighbors, how do you do that? Let's see how we can do that. Okay, so this is expected. Let's copy paste. Let's reuse this. Okay, cool. This is show version. Show run is already here, so we don't need this anymore. Yes. So I have terminal length 0, show version, show run, and now I want show CDP neighbors. And I will call this as show CDP neighbors. This is not needed. Show CDP neighbors. CDP. Yes. Cool. So we have show version, we have show run, we have show CDP. Let's try to see if we could get some meaningful results. Okay, script is executing. I have some output as well. Awesome. Let's try to see. Show CDP for router 5. Yes, there is output. Definitely there is some good output. So I have show run for router 2, show CDP for router 2, show version for router 2, beautifully separated in separate files. Cool. Let's test one more thing. What if there is a problem with the command like show switch and a command is followed next to it? Then will this block of code execute? Let's see that. So show switch is not a valid command. We know that for sure. So we get a message here, and yeah, let's say this is show switch. If there is result, it's going to be show switch, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's try to execute it. Before that, let's remove all these files. Okay, cool. So I should probably see on the CLI screen saying show switch did not run on so and so. So that is the error message I'm expecting on the CLI. Yes, as expected, I got the response and I also have the rest of the commands executed. Amazing. So I have show CDP and show version, CDP and show version, but this particular block of code is not running. Cool, as expected. Let's just verify if we have proper input. No, we don't have. We have the output from show switch command embedded in show CDP, which is not the right output we're looking for. Why it happened? Because the child process did not close timely. If you could see here, we are enumerating the value of the child expect, but we are not telling to the pexpect to where to stop exactly. So what we're going to do is we need to tell in case show switch did not run, then stop the buffer at the hash and start a new one. So that the output from show switch is not carried forward to the show CDP. This is very much important because we're dealing with the buffers. Okay, now let's run it and see how it looks like. Okay, but before that, let me just remove all this. Okay, and I'm executing it. We're getting error messages as expected, and then we have the output as well. Let's verify that. Now what I have? Now I have good result. Router 5 CDP neighbors and router 4 CDP neighbors and router 3 CDP neighbors and router 2 CDP neighbors. Cool. So this is pretty much how we're gonna do using Python. Hope you enjoyed this Python tutorial and try to use as many commands as you could. Try to include that, and you can pretty much export them to different files. Perfect. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.